All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Daniel Federico Show. March, 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 March. March Madness is finally here. I'm Daniel Federico. That's Nick Tazio, and this is the Daniel Federico Show. All right, we got to kick it off. This is probably going to be an entire episode of March Madness. The first four start on Tuesday. But let's take it region by region, and let's first start with the East region. It is stacked. Duke, UConn, Michigan State, Kansas, St. John's, Louisville, UCLA, Ohio State, TCU, UCF, South Florida, Northern Iowa, Cal Baptist, North Dakota State, Ferrum, and Siena. We have a lot to talk about. This is the stackedest region, I would like to say, in this whole entire tournament. Nick, who do you think is your favorite to come out of this region and go into the Final Four, go into the Sweet 16 at least? Who's your favorite?
In the East,
Mhm.
for sure it's Duke.
Yeah.
100,000,000,000%, man. They're so and they have two really big injuries right now that they're dealing with. They have an injury to Caleb Foster and Patrick, I think it's Ngongba. I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name, but Foster doesn't look good, but apparently Ngongba could come back at some point in the tournament. It's unclear. This team is the best defensive team in the nation by multiple different metrics. Their offense also ranks top 10 in a lot of different categories as well. But Daniel, they got the best freaking player in the nation right now,
Yeah.
Cameron Boozer. And March, this is what I love about March because it is literally one of those times of year, one of those tournaments, March Madness is, where you actually see players carrying teams on their back throughout the tournament. And I don't think Duke will get to that point because they're loaded. Like, even without Ngongba and Foster, they still have a really loaded roster. But just the fact that they have a guy like Boozer, who is the best player in the country, it's when you have a player like that who is just so much different than the rest of the landscape, and he's obviously at a higher level. You feel pretty damn good going into March. And Duke has had their fair share of individual supernovas from, Boozer to Cooper Flagg and Zion Williamson. So this is just another jewel in the gauntlet of great Duke basketball players. But I think going anybody but Duke in the East is hard to see for me. Really hard to see.
This East region, you're going to see a lot of upsets, I think. But Duke is my favorite also. But I would say watch out for St. John's. Rick Pitino, when he gets to this tournament, he is March. He's Mr. March, I'd like to say. He's one of the best college basketball coaches of all time. And everywhere he goes, he wins. And I would like to say St. John's. They're 28-6, 18-2 in the Big East this year. And Big East is a hard conference. St. John's is a very good team. I think they can upset a couple teams. I know that it's not really an upset if you're the fifth seed coming out of the East, but if they get into a tough competition, let's say they meet up with UConn or Duke or even Ohio State is another terrific team. I could see St. John's really pushing them to the last second, to the last shot, even bringing it to overtime. And let's see it's going to be overall the better team is going to get over the hump a little bit. And I can see Duke getting over the hump, UConn getting over the hump. But St. John's, I would not take them out of the equation to be go to the Sweet 16 at least, or even make it to the Elite Eight. Final Four, that would be they have whoever comes out of the East is going to have the toughest path. Than any other collegiate team in the States in this tournament, because it's just how packed it is. And the committee, I have to say, we talk bad about the committee a lot. I think they got it right. I think they got a lot of this bracket correct. And especially stacking up the East. The one thing I just don't like is Duke is the overall #1 seed.
Yeah.
Why did they have to have the hardest path? Usually when you see a team with the overall #1 seed, they usually have slightly an easier path than the other teams. Um, but if there's one team that can go all the way to the Final Four, to the Elite Eight, to the Sweet 16, or all the way to the finals, all the way to the national championship game, it would be Duke here. It would
Yeah.
be Duke. They are, yeah, they've had some injuries, but we've seen it all year that their bench is fantastic too. And it's I have to go in Duke. Duke is a blast to watch. They play Siena on Thursday, March 19th at 2:50 p.m. Siena, I don't think I've watched any of their games this year.
I definitely haven't watched any of their games either. I don't expect them to give Duke too much trouble, but we've seen crazier things. This is March, after all, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
it is March, and if Siena pulls off this upset, we could be seeing the biggest upset in March Madness history or in recent times because
Probably, yeah.
like Siena, like I gotta go and like I was trying to check them out, but there's not really like I don't know any of them. Like you know what I mean? Like I like to say that I know a lot about every sport, but Siena's the one team where there's not much on them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where they are, what where they're based out of. I'm actually gonna look it up right now just because now you got my curiosity spiking there, Mr. Federico. So the University of Siena. So is it the University of Siena or is it Siena College?
I got no idea.
You got no idea.
I
All
just know
right.
they play in the MAC, the MAAC.
Siena MAC, because I am getting Siena
They play
U
they play in the double MAC, like two A's, MAAC.
MAAC. All
Yeah.
right. Siena basketball. Well, I just immediately article comes up. They went from 4-8 to a MAC champion in 2 years. So apparently this team has turned themselves around. The Siena Saints, that's what they're
Siena
called.
Saints. There you go.
The Siena Saints, getting a little bit of background of the Siena Saints here. So they play in Albany, so they're from New York. They're a New York team.
And this
The
is their
arena,
first time going dancing since 2010.
yeah, which is that's pretty wild. That's a
16,
16-year,
16-year gap.
but it looks like before that, 2008, 2009, 2010, they made the tournament 3 straight years.
So maybe they're back to being a prominent March Madness team
This is
potentially.
this would definitely 100,000% rank up there with one of the bigger upsets in March Madness history. If they beat Duke this Thursday, yeah, book it. We'll be talking about it for a week.
We'll be talking about it probably for a month. When we do,
Yeah,
we'll be talking about for the entire tournament for sure, and probably after the tournament, or then probably when it's a slow news day, we'd start talking about the biggest upsets of all time, and they would go in that category. But for overall, who I think is gonna have the best chance, like I like Duke a lot. I like Ohio State a lot. I like you. I like this. Hey, there's a lot of teams just in this East region that
yeah.
have a complete basketball team. And that's why March is awesome because you're going to see a lot of great teams shed some tears and a lot of great teams cheer. So there's going to be a
And
lot of tears and cheers going on in this tournament. That's what makes March Madness so beautiful.
it's
Um,
really a beautiful thing. And if you were to ask me my second pick, it would be Michigan State.
yeah, I
So
like Michigan State either. Kansas too.
Kansas too. Let's get some love on the coaching depth in the
Oh,
East.
yep.
We got Rick Pitino from St. John's. We got Danny Hurley at UConn. We got Tom Izzo at Michigan State. Bill Self at Kansas. Bill Self, ladies and gentlemen.
It's literally
Goodness.
it's probably the best college basketball coaches in one comp and one region. And that is something special. These are going to be the best games to watch out of the whole tournament, I think. And I know it's just the first region we're talking about, but I truly think this will be we're going to see a lot of coaching master classes are about to happen. Um, it's gonna be so awesome. I can't even remember last time a region like this was this stacked.
I I mean, off the top of my head, neither can I. This is just like we had last year where the SEC was the dominant conference in college basketball. So, that kind of transformed the layout of March Madness last year. But for the East in general, in terms of just having so much star power in one region, I can't remember either. I'm sure it hasn't been
Yeah,
too long just because these coaches have stayed there for the most part. And then Coach K was at Duke for all those years. So they were
yeah.
obviously.
I can't remember. Maybe it was even last year. There was probably I think this region was stacked, but like that the East region, I am super excited um to watch. But let's move on to the South region, where we got
So
Florida, Houston, Illinois, Nebraska, Vanderbilt, North Carolina, St. Mary's, Clemson, Iowa, Texas A&M, VCU, McNeese, Troy, Penn, the Ivy League school, Idaho, Prairie View A&M, Lay. This is going to be a remark. This is also another solid one, but I honestly think the Gators are going to run away with this South region. Um, like they were the they were the national champion. They were last year's national champions, the Florida Gators. Um, and then Todd Golden is a fantastic coach. And especially they're coming out of one of the hardest conferences right now in basketball and all of sports, probably in collegiate sports. The Florida Gators would be my favorite coming out of the South. Their opponent is TBD because they have to finish off with the first four. But I wouldn't be surprised if they make it back to the Final Four this year. I don't think Florida is going to have enough firepower like they did last year to win the national championship. And two-peating in basketball, two-peating in any sport is so hard, especially in a single elimination tournament, that I find this will be incredibly hard if they two-peat. And I just don't think they have enough power since last year to bring it this year to Pete. The Final Four wouldn't be the craziest thing by seeing them in the Final Four, but 100% I think you can depend on them going to the Sweet 16.
Um, I disagree.
Oh, you don't think they're going to go to the Sweet 16? You think an
I
upset is
don't I don't
brewing?
I don't think they're the best team in the South. I think that's Houston.
Yeah,
I think Houston is the best team. This might be one of the first disagreements in the
it might
new.
be, but no, I agree with it still. Houston is a fantastic team also.
Yeah. I just think Florida, like they like I don't think anybody would disagree with me saying this. They can't shoot the ball nearly as good as they did last year. And like Walter Clayton Jr. was a star last year, and he's obviously playing in the NBA now. And there's a number of players that left. Um, they're like they lack so much from three, and then they're also kind of a liability from the free throw line, which scares me a lot because free throws, especially in a big like a knockout tournament, like you need all the points you can get, and it's
Yeah,
just
especially
it's
from beyond the arc.
from beyond the arc too. But like if you get an opportunity to go to the line, the charity line, the free throw line, where nobody is contesting your shot, and you can't be having that. Like everything needs to be firing on all cylinders, in my opinion, for you to actually make a run in the men's basketball tournament. Like everything has to be perfect, which is why I feel so good about Duke, and we're going to talk about Michigan coming up too, but I feel really damn good about them. But it's just Florida for me, they're lacking. They're lacking a little bit. I also think you could say like by far, just eye test here, the South is the worst region out of all four regions. I
Yeah, like
think
the competition wise.
competition wise, I should have said that. Yeah, top to bottom, like depth wise, I think it is the least most competitive region. So yeah, like I think Houston will eventually win this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if Florida kind of fought and grinded a win out either.
Yeah, and also like Houston's head coach Sampson is tremendous. He has three Final Four appearances.
Yeah,
Like that's,
and
but I also like Todd Golden out of Florida. Like he's a great head coach. Like we're gonna see, like those two programs alone have terrific head coaches. And then like Illinois, I think they had honestly they had a stellar year this year that I
mhm.
was a little shocked about. I didn't really think they were gonna be such a high seed going into the regular season, but they pulled it. They pulled it away. They pulled it away, man. And then Nebraska too. If I could see one team giving one of the higher seeds a run for their money, I could see it being Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Vanderbilt already. tuned up Florida in the conference tournament. So like, and before that, people and that here, and this is another. I'm going to be a hater again for this. I'm good at this. Bruce Pearl, another message for you.
I like this.
You want to talk about Auburn and people saying, and go look it up right now. All the articles online, a majority of them, Auburn was snubbed. Auburn was snubbed. Auburn lost 16 games.
Yeah, like they were not snubbed. I was
They
so happy when I saw them not make the tournament.
And here's the other one, Daniel. What was everybody saying besides Bruce Pearl, who appointed his son to be the head coach? So obviously there's further feelings there. But what was everybody saying about Auburn? What was the one hallmark characteristic of why they should make the tournament? Well, they beat Florida, and Florida won the whole thing last
Yeah,
year.
the strength of schedules.
Florida didn't win the SEC. So how good of a win really is it to beat Florida? And in the grand scheme of things, yeah, they're just not as good. They got size, they can rebound, they can play the boards. I'll tell you that. But they turn the ball over, they can't shoot threes, and they also are somewhat of a liability at the free throw line. So like Auburn, like Auburn doesn't deserve to be into this tournament. And Bruce Pearl now he can quiet down until next year because this is like just right there. Like I had to say it. Like Florida got tuned up by Vanderbilt, who like I don't think you would disagree with me saying they're not nearly as good as Florida is on paper, talent wise, roster construction, even coaching. I think Todd Golden is a terrific coach. So to bring it back to Florida and the South region, I think they're good. I think they're gritty. I think they can grind out wins, but I think that's the only way they're going to be able to make it out of this region. It's not going to be with shot making and point scoring. It's going to be with terrific rebounding, defense, and key outlet passes because no matter what, they're still going to shoot threes, even though they can't. They can't make any. So you got to get shooters the ball, and no matter, they're going to miss, they're going to miss, they're going to miss, but at some point, they're going to start making a few of them. So I think the key is just to supply your shooters, use your front court and your size, and play the paint.
I agree with you right there. I think there's a lot of storylines in the South region, but let's talk about another team in North Carolina. Herbert Davis did another terrific job with North Carolina. Seth Trimble's also been great. Caleb Wilson, when he's on the floor, is great. This team could also give a couple teams a run for their money, but I think the competition kind of dips off from the sixth seed. You go St. Mary's, Clemson. I'm not a big fan on Clemson. I'm not high on Clemson. I'm not high on Iowa. Texas A&M Texas A&M is a tricky one for me because they show flashes of them being good, but then they also have flashes of them being just complete beyond mediocre. Sometimes with their decision making, with their and their shot making, shot decision making, their shot selection. I should say it was probably easier. I don't know why I had a brain aneurysm right there, but yeah, their shot selection has been really off, and sometimes they just lack the defensive presence. Texas A&M. So, but like I think after North Carolina, the competition really dips. But like if there's one team below North Carolina to make a run, and if they do play up to their standards, it could be Iowa and it could be Clemson. That's literally it. Like I don't see VCU, McNeese, even though McNeese has the swagger, has the vibes. I don't see them, really giving it a fight out of the South region. I think Troy's just happy to be there out of the Sun Belt. I think they're excited. The Ivy League, Pennsylvania. It's cool to see an Ivy League team in. It's awesome. I like it. I wish Yale was in it. Penn is in it. Penn won the Ivy. They're also probably just there they're just happy to be there. Idaho is just happy to be there. But if there's one team though, it would have to be Iowa. If there was a team with like below North Carolina in the seat and the seedings, to make a run for anything. But North Carolina is another team to give a run on to Florida and Houston. Same with Vanderbilt.
Yeah. But it looks like they got a tough like VCU. They're only favored by 2.5 against VCU. So
yeah, I saw that, and honestly, like I'm not like I said, like I'm not a fan of VCU.
yeah.
I think it's because I lack watching those games, but man, like you have like almost 200 programs in college football. It's pretty hard to watch all of the games or watch any of the other conferences that are appealing to you. And maybe that's why I'm not a big fan of VCU. Um, but overall, like I'm a big fan on Vanderbilt, Houston, but I'm also another big fan on Todd Golden and the Florida Gators.
All right, I'll go with you on Vandy. I think Vandy can definitely, start some chaos just like they did in the conference tournament. But for me, it's Houston is the favorites, followed by Florida. And then I would probably go Illinois third, just because of the way they've had such a great regular season. And also, like the Big Ten this year was just a freaking grindhouse of a
Yeah.
conference.
With Purdue
Sack
too and stuff.
Yeah. And Purdue, Michigan, oh, even Ohio State. Like Ohio State was pretty damn good this year. And I think Illinois would be my third, but the one thing that gives me some pause on North Carolina is number one, the fact that they play VCU in the first round. But number
You're
two,
high on VCU, eh? You're high.
I'm high. I'm not coming from like the perspective of like I know everything about VCU because I don't. So please do not get at me. Don't get at my socials. I don't know anything about VCU. I just look at these games and I look at the bracket like I'm doing right now, and then I kind of
Do you
like
see it
zoom
kind of
out.
like a trap game, like VCU upset right there?
Yes, yes, 1,000,000%. I think that it is a trap game, perhaps in the making. But like Herb Brooks, he's a fantastic coach. Like he's a great coach, and he's been doing good things in North Carolina. This is just isn't their best team, especially compared to recent years. Remember when they went to the final? They had Caleb Love at point guard, and they had a number of different other. Who was the five who played or the four? I forget his name, but he was a big guy, good rebounder. Yeah, I think VCU, I think they have the opportunity to potentially pull off an upset here. Um,
What do you think about St. Mary's? You think they could pull off an upset?
well, looking at the spread, they're actually favored. So the upset would be if Texas A&M.
Well, like no, like if they pull off an upset against like after they advance with Texas A&M, I'm pretty sure they play against Illinois if they win. I could be wrong. I think it could be either playing or they
They
could be
play
playing
Houston.
Houston. I
I
forget
think
how the bracket. I don't have a full bracket in front of me how it works, but I'm pretty sure they play either Illinois or Houston depending on how the bracket goes. But like, cause I'm not high on Texas A&M either. Like I could see
Yeah.
them winning that game. But do you think that if St. Mary's holds on, you think that could be another sneaky team?
If they beat Texas A&M, no, I don't think they'll beat Houston
You think they'd be like
because
a one and
I don't
done?
think
Like they win one game and they're out.
I think it's win one and they're out. I don't think they have the capabilities to match up with Houston. Just plain and simple. Texas A&M is
Do you
not
have
a
the bracket fully and open in front of you? I should
yeah,
probably
I
open
do.
it. Do they play Houston next?
They would play Houston next. Yeah. So this is how it goes. So just to run through it for you for the South, Florida, we don't know who they play yet, but they would either play the winner of Clemson or Iowa. Vandy or McNeese plays either Nebraska or Troy. And then I think the really good, like the potential for a really good second round game would be Illinois versus North Carolina. So that's how it would go. And then St. Mary's or Texas A&M versus Houston or Idaho. So that's how the bracket goes. I know kind of it sounds like a bunch of words because it if you guys don't have the bracket in front of you, it's hard for me to kind of like paint a picture, but that's how it would go. So yeah, Illinois, North Carolina would probably be the best second round game, unless you want to say Clemson, and whoever wins between Florida and the 16 seed. So yeah, but to answer your question, no, I don't think St. Mary's beats Houston in the next round. I think they beat Texas A&M, but I think
You
they
think they
lose.
could give them a run for their money though? Like you think they can make it close?
Yeah, 100%. That's because that's like what March is all about. Like it's all about
March,
the
March, March.
March, man. Get in while you can. This is
Mhm.
this is like this is the beauty of March Madness. Like all these games going on in the first round, and then you got like 7 million TVs on, and then you get a text from your buddy. So for me, it's you, and then you're saying, "Yo, turn this game on right now. 5 minutes remaining." And then I can totally see that being a scenario where like we're watching games, and then you're like, "Yo, turn on St. Mary's Houston." St. Mary's is only down three, and there's like 2 minutes to go.
It would be so crazy if St. Mary's makes like a deep run. Like I would find that crazy. Um, like if
They
they
did a few
pull
years
if
ago,
they
right?
what's up?
Did they do it a few years ago with that
That's what
guy?
I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. I think they made it all the way into. I could be mistaken. Maybe they only made it to the Sweet 16,
I think
or
they
they
made
just
it.
made it to the second round. But I'm pretty sure when they made it a couple years ago, they had a big win in round one,
I'm gonna look it up right now. They had that Doug Eater guy. Remember he had the
right?
mustache and he
Yeah.
was jacking up threes. Okay, Saint Mary's. Okay, so the Saint Mary's Gales. I almost got confused there.
The Golden Gales.
Yeah, and there's also a Queen's
Yeah, there's a
University
Queens University team, man.
in the tournament. So I'm listening to all these sports podcasts, and I'm just getting ready for like Dan Patrick and all these guys to just absolutely name drop U Sports. But no, it's
How awesome would
NCAA.
that be? The Golden Gales.
Well, that would be super awesome. That would be super awesome. Um, so in the NCAA tournament, so last year
Or did they
they
make it to the Elite Eight with Goddard?
um I don't know if I have the right team because okay, so in 2010 they made the Sweet 16, but this was not 2010.
No.
Uh,
Or maybe Goddard Goddard was what team was Goddard on?
Doug Eater was St. Peter's. St. Peter's.
Oh,
He
that's what
was
it
St.
was.
Peter's. So
Yeah.
just I got confused there, man. So there's St.
Well,
Peter's, St. Mary's, and St. John's too, and there's St. Joe's. I know there's a St.
yeah,
Joe.
there's a bunch of Catholic schools in it.
So yeah,
Uh,
St. Peter 2022. They made the Elite Eight.
that's what it was with Doug. But what about St. Mary's though? They made a run a couple years ago, didn't they?
It
This,
says
there's no way
here.
this is their first time back in the tournament since 2010.
No, it's not. They were in the tournament last year as well, but they lost to Alabama in the second round.
Maybe
Um,
that's. And who did they beat in the first round?
I'm gonna get it back up again. I just had to switch.
Because that could be the big one. I could be
They
thinking.
beat so last year they beat Vandy by 3 points. So that was the big one, probably that you're
I
thinking of.
Yeah, I think that's the big one because I think Vandy was ranked high.
Since 2010, 2012, 2013, 2017, 19, 22, 23, 24, and 25 are all the years that St. Mary's has played in the tournament. But since 2010, when they went to the Sweet 16, they lost to Baylor, who were a 3 seed at the time. They have never made it past the second round. So, and likely they would face Houston in the second round. So
It's
again, it
probably
was,
yeah. They're not going to be advancing.
I don't
History will
think
not
so.
be.
I think they could definitely keep it close, like you said, though. Like we've seen insane things happen, like insane things. Um,
But hey, I think that's what it was. Like I'm trying to search up what year was that last year, right? And they beat Vanderbilt.
they beat Vandy last year, yeah.
I'm just trying to think because I think that's the one that I was thinking of because I think Vander was um ranked exceeded high and I was going to upset Vanderbilt.
They were a 10 seed last year.
St. Mary's or Vanderbilt?
Vanderbilt, St. Mary's was a 7 seed.
Oh shit! So they've been a 7 seed back-to-back years.
Yeah, so they've
So I don't
that's
know what I was thinking then. No, I think that was still no. I think Vanderbilt was still a better team than St. Mary's, and I think that's what the upset was. And I think that's what they got wrong. The committee with Vanderbilt so low. Well, it kind of makes sense they lost, um, but
but
no,
yeah.
I think on paper they were a way better basketball team.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's just also like when you see the names like Vanderbilt against St. Mary's.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna say St. Peter's now. It's like I feel like I'm gonna say the wrong
Are
name.
we ever going to see St. Peter's back in the tournament?
Are we ever? One of the outstanding questions we have to
1 year
answer.
wonder with Doug Goddard or Goddard. I don't
I
know. The
think
guy
it's
with the mustache.
Peter.
Yeah, what's he doing now? Like, I wonder what these guys do nowadays.
Doug Eater. I saw something about him like on
What is
social.
he? I think he's a coach somewhere, right?
Doug Eater. Yeah, he's a varsity assistant and JV head basketball coach. So that's what I have
Go
of
from
him.
college basketball legend in March Madness to a JV head coach.
Yeah, and he also didn't stay at St. Peter's. So he played St. Peter's. He
Yeah, he
played
transferred his last year.
played at Bryant.
hmm
For the Bryant Bulldogs.
We got to move
But
on to the West, though. This is another good division right here, a region. I'm gonna say division sometimes. Region: Arizona, Purdue, Gonzaga, Arkansas, Wisconsin, BYU, Miami, Villanova, Utah State, Missouri, Texas, NC State, High Point, Hawaii, Kennesaw State, Queens University. Their first time being in the NCAA tournament, their first time in the D1 program as a D1 program, and then Long Island go Fins up. This a lot of storylines in this region. Yep, Fins up.
Ends
In
up.
this division alone, but the Sharks they have to play. They have to play Arizona game one. Um, Arizona, Big Ten champs, or is it Big 12? Are they Big 12?
No, they're Big 12.
Yeah, Big 12 champs. Um, Tommy Lloyd, what a year he had coaching them. This team's awesome.
Mhm.
Bryce James redshirt year. What a year to redshirt and just watch this great basketball team. 32-2 record, 16-2 in the Big 12. I don't want to say Arizona's going to run away with it because obviously they have to play Villanova or Utah State next round. Yeah, they'd have to play Utah or Villanova next round. I like Villanova a lot. And this, I could see if Villanova beats Utah State. I'm not saying they could upset Arizona, but I don't think it would be the craziest thing. Like if I'm looking at I'm a big believer in Arizona State. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big believer. Like if they make it to the Sweet 16, I don't see many teams beating them. But I would like to say there's one sneaky team to look out for to beat them, and I think it's just the style of basketball Villanova plays. I think they'll make it close. And if I saw on the TV, I was like, holy crap! And Villanova just beat Arizona. That's just my gut feeling. I would say if there's one team in this division or in this region to beat Arizona, it would be Villanova, or it would be one of the other higher seeds, obviously. But if there's one lower seed, like the eighth seed of Villanova, to beat Arizona, I would be like, I called it. My gut was telling me, but I think once they go to the Sweet 16, they're going to go past the Sweet 16. They're going to go to the Elite Eight. They're going to go to the Final Four, and I honestly think they're going to go to the national championship if they get past this South region or this West region. Sorry.
No. They're the favorites. They should be. I don't think they're going to win. I don't think they're going to make it out of the West.
You don't think they're going to make it out of the West? Or do you think they're going to lose in the first two rounds?
I think they're going to lose
Or
in
sweet.
I think they're going to lose in the Elite Eight.
Okay.
Um,
Well, that is where it gets tough too. That's where it gets that's when their competition starts heating up because they'll have to play. I don't know how I should pull up this bracket. That's so my fault, but I don't care. But they like the Elite Eight is gonna be ridiculous.
I can go through it if you want, like
No,
briefly.
just tell me who they would have a chance of playing. Wouldn't it be like
Well,
Hawaii, Arkansas?
they would play probably Wisconsin or Arkansas.
Yeah.
And Wisconsin's my team. That's why I
Well,
think
Wisconsin has to start playing. They start their tournament with High Point, and Wisconsin, I think they're gonna destroy High Point.
me too. I think they're going to destroy High Point. They're so good, man. They have two really good guards right now. No, excuse me, not two. They have one. I'm thinking about Arizona. Nick Boyd. Nick Boyd is the guard's name on Wisconsin, who's, he's like a 20-point per game scorer. He's amazing.
Wisconsin also got like John Blackwell.
They're good. They're a really good team. And you know what? They like they gave Michigan some trouble. And to me, Michigan is a better team than Arizona.
And man,
And
they're injury scary right now.
yeah,
One massive injury.
yeah. And I think Arizona and Michigan are kind of built the same way. So I think watching Wisconsin do that to and Arkansas is nothing to snuff over either. Like I'm not confident in saying that Wisconsin, first of all, the best second round game will probably be in the West, which is likely going to be Arkansas versus Wisconsin.
And I agree with that. That's going to be a terrific basketball game to watch because how awesome would it be if Hawaii beats Arkansas? And we just see Hawaii just go on an absolute tear.
It would be cool. It would be really cool, but
I don't see it getting done.
I don't see it. You know what I do will be cool is another good second round matchup likely is going to be Gonzaga versus BYU.
Yep. I like BYU in this
I do
tournament.
too.
I like
I
BYU.
I love AJ DeBansa. Is that his name?
Yes.
He's just relentless, man. And he's going to be a great pro. I just hope that and this is the kind of crappy thing about college basketball too, because you got a lot of one and dones, but with NIL, guys now have a reason to stay financially. They can get paid a lot of money. and they can ensure that they'll be able to improve as a player before going pro. So I hope Debanza stays. That's just me. I hope he
Nah,
stays.
he has to go
He's
pro.
not. He's not staying. Just like
He's
Cooper
gonna
Flag.
go make he's gonna be like, well, where do you see him going in the draft? Second overall, third overall?
I think first, second, third. He can. It
Yeah,
depends.
he's a lottery pick lock.
He's a lottery
Uh,
pick. You got okay here. Okay, no, I got it for you. So I think Boozer will go one.
yeah, I think Boozer's going one.
I think Boozer will go one. I think Debanza is going to go two, and then third, I think it's going to be Darren Peterson. That's just my
I think Derek Peterson's going second.
and that's it's kind of like a flip flop because he's had some injuries, so people are kind of
And
like
people were having that
monitoring.
concern too of him like taking like a day offs and stuff.
Yeah, but that's what everybody does in the NBA. It's load
Yeah,
management.
he's already NBA ready.
He'd fit right in, man. So like a
But like
shoe.
honest, but yeah, like that. He's a lottery lock though for
Yeah,
sure.
he's a
But
lottery pick. Yeah.
yeah,
But
and
yeah,
I think him alone could make BYU go far.
that's what I'm saying. And Gonzaga, I don't know much about Gonzaga, but I think that
Gonzaga's been not terrific. They've had their ups and downs this year, but they have a lot more highs. And they're another team that's pretty built. Like they have the firepower coming off the bench. Their starting five is terrific. You insert anybody in that starting five offense off that bench. I think that just says how great the coaching staff was this year. Well, Gonzaga's always a good coach, always coached well.
yeah, Mark
But I
Few.
really like how this team has a lot of depth, and I think they would be a great team. But BYU Gonzaga would be a terrific game. But I think BYU, um, AJ will take them all the way. I think he could take them all the way to the Elite Eight, to the Final
Yeah,
Four, just on his firepower alone. And he makes everyone around him 10 times better. And that's what you want in March.
yeah, and we also have Purdue to talk about. Like Purdue is another really good team that could come out of here. I just Arizona, they've literally built up this reputation 3 out of the last 4 years of being somewhat of chokers. And we've been like a number of years before the season starts, I have been on the Wildcat bandwagon. Like this is the year, this is the year, this is the year. They
But
haven't made a
Matt Pater is trying to get back to that Final Four.
he is, but they haven't been to one since 2003.
I know, and he's trying to get back to it.
He's trying, and I don't know what it's likely to do with roster construction and then who they match up against. But I think Wisconsin in a high profile game against Arizona would be able to grind out a win. I just see it happening. I see it happening.
I agree with you on that. And I think there's going to be a lot of big name players in this West region, and a lot of like when we talk about Purdue for a second, like the Boilermakers, when they're like firing though, they're firing at a high executional level. Like they're firing. Like, no one can stop them. It feels like when one thing goes good their way, the rest of the game is smooth sailing for Purdue. And I
Yeah.
think that I would like I think they could be a Sweet 16 team for sure. Final Four, just with the firepower of this tournament this year, I just don't think they're gonna make it all the way back to the Final Four.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you 100% on that. Elite Eight, Sweet 16, that's kind of like their
Yeah, like
ceiling.
I think their cutoff would be Elite Eight, but I think that would be the maximum. If they hopefully they eat my words, hopefully all these teams make me eat my words, and they all go to the national championship. Imagine just somehow just the quietest team, the quietest team. Imagine Queens University and their first appearance in March Madness, and they go all the way to imagine they go and win a national championship. They're just upset after upset after upset. Would that be the greatest? That would be the greatest March Madness story of all time. But I do like Purdue. Arizona though, like it's the same thing with Arizona. When they're on, they're on.
Yeah,
But Purdue, especially when they're on fire, I don't see anybody stopping them.
I agree. I just think Arizona's front court low. Like I love Purdue's guards. What's his last name? First name Braden. I forget his last name. Am I thinking of the right guy? Hold on.
Like for Arizona,
Oh, for Purdue. For Purdue.
like
What's his
Braden
name?
Smith.
Braden Smith. That's what I'm thinking of. I don't know why I didn't think of his last name, but like he's a really, really, really smart player. Like this guy can dish the ball all across the court.
And
But
that's what you want in March. Like you could be a one-man show in the regular season and the conference tournament play. Um, but now in March, you have to find a way to get every single like almost you gotta make your teammates better. You have to make your
Yeah.
teammates. You have to make everyone around you 20 times better. And I think Brandon Smith, he's done that all year. So from the jump, he's made his teammates better. He's made everybody on the floor with him better. And I think he's the type of guy that if he's not on his A game, the whole Purdue team is not on their A game. I don't think there's a guy that could step up into his place and replace him, especially if he
Yeah.
goes down with injury or if he's literally just having an off night. And if he's having an off night, that's Purdue's worst nightmare. If Brandon Smith is having an off night, um, you got to hope he's on. He's on fire. He's on his A game because once he's on his A game, there's very few teams that can stop Purdue when they're all firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, and he's such a good creator. I just think if they were to match up against Arizona's got a really good defense, and they're
And I
just
honestly think when they're all on fire, I think Arizona would probably be the one team that could stop them. But like out of the West region, obviously there's trillions teams that could probably stop them. But like what we saw this year in Purdue, when
yeah,
when everything feels like it's going in, when they feel like they're missing no shots, when it's now translating, when their offense is playing so good it translates to defense. Like it's just I just what I've seen on such a big sample size this season, it is hard to just like it's hard to just say, you know what, who could beat these guys when they're on and when they're on fire? Arizona, yeah. Like I wouldn't disagree with Arizona. They're the one seed, but I honestly that would be the great. I think that would be a top tier matchup to watch, and I honestly think that would be the game going down to the last shot of the game. 5 seconds remaining. Whoever has that ball is swishing a three to win the game.
yeah, I agree. I just love the West, like the potential matchups that we can get out of the West, like as a whole, top to bottom, they probably beat out the rest of these regions. Like we really could have, um, like how good would Arizona Purdue be in the Final Four?
Like that would be awesome.
Like, how good would that be? How good would Wisconsin, Arizona be in the Elite Eight, or BYU versus Purdue? And you
What
get to
about
watch
what about,
Braden
what about
Smith,
Queens University versus Hawaii?
Queens University.
What about
Like,
the Long Island Sharks against I don't know Kennesaw State?
fins up, man. I'm on LIU. I'm all on LIU.
I'm all on LIU too. Let's do it. I hope they get if they upset Arizona, that's gonna be it's or yeah, they have to upset Arizona. That's gonna be one terrific upset. The LIU Sharks, Long Island University, fins up.
Fins up.
But yeah, no, like the potential matchups for this region alone is terrific.
Yeah.
Um, and it's the great thing is there's so much firepower. But I will reinstate myself. Purdue is if if Bren Smith is off, they're losing. And I will stand by that. But if
Um,
he is on, the whole entire team is on, and it translates into all aspects of the game, offense and defense. Um, he's the anchor to this Purdue basketball team, and if he is off, and that would be the worst nightmare that Purdue has, is if he's having a bad game. Because if he's having a bad game, you're going to see Purdue have an early exit of March Madness.
yeah, and like for the sake of high quality basketball in this tournament, really hope that it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
And
but we really haven't seen it happen this year. Like I think
no, we
I don't
haven't.
I think he's probably had what 3 off games and we've but that's what I'm saying. Like it's a small sample size of where we had seen him play bad or not. I don't want to say bad up to his standard because up to his standard is terrific. And when he gets his teammates a lot, like when he's on the court, you could feel that he has Purdue on his shoulders as how
Yeah.
he makes his teammates better and how he makes everybody on the floor better with him. But then you see games where he's really just having an off night. He probably has the flu. He's probably sick or something. Probably have a calf strain, something hurting. And you've seen the whole team kind of just fall apart. And I hope that
Yeah.
doesn't happen in the tournament because, like, again, they obviously have players that could probably replace him. But I just see that he's the anchor, Braden Smith. And if he goes down, the team goes down.
Yeah, and he's literally the most important cog in that machine for the Boilermakers. So his health is of the utmost importance if Purdue want to make a deep run.
Mhm. And I think so too. But let's move on to the last conference because we only have 10 minutes of the episode. We're going to go 15 because we're going to talk about one more segment after this. So now we're in the Midwest. The Midwest is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We got Michigan at the 1 seed, Iowa State, Virginia, Alabama, Texas Tech, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, St. Louis, Santa Carla, Carla. Oh my God, Santa Carla, Miami, Ohio. If they beat SMU, so SMU underneath, Akron, Hofstra, State, Tennessee State, UMBC, and Howard. So got a couple of teams that I still have to play. Their opponents are TBD. I'm pretty sure Tennessee has to play the winner of Miami, Ohio, and SMU. I got to ask you this question before we talk about any other games.
Yes, sir.
Miami, Ohio being in the first four,
Hmm.
I think yes, because they didn't win the MAC. I think that's pretty respectable. At least they're dancing at some in some capacity. If they
Mhm.
won the MAC and they're in the final four or in the first four, that'd have been a little ridiculous. But I really like how you have two MAC conference teams represented with Miami, Ohio, and Akron. Like I said last week or the week before, I think Akron's the better overall team between Miami, Ohio, and like between those two, Akron and Miami, Ohio, out of the coming, I think Akron is the better overall team. I just like how consistent Miami, Ohio has played, and with their loss in the first round of UMass, I think the final or the first four. I got to stop saying the final four, but the first four, I think that's the right matchup for them. Do you think the committee got that right?
Yeah, yeah. They didn't win their conference tournament. Like that, it would be the like think of how controversial it would have been if they just put them in and they if they would be a notable case in history. It's like a case study of a team that doesn't win a conference tournament. And then also like here is where I'm gonna sound like a bit of a BSer. And I'm gonna sound like I'm a hypocrite. But those strength of schedule metrics, and I'm not a Ken Palm guy. I'm not a Ken Palm guy, but they do to
They
some
stand up. They're right. They're kind of
they
right.
matter. They matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they matter. They do. And in this situation, when you're boiling it down, and then the question becomes, did they do it right by putting Miami of Ohio in the bubble, or should they have just been in the tournament in the first round? And that is where these metrics come into play. That is where you start to compare them because they didn't win their conference tournament. So why would they get in? Well, then you would see if they beat a lot of really good teams, which they didn't. They didn't. They played a really easy schedule. I think it was ranked 269th, I
Yeah,
saw.
a weak schedule in the MAC, but it's the
Yeah,
MAC.
it is the MAC, but at the same time, like that's where like they did go undefeated, and I know that's what people will also look at, but you have to win your conference tournament in order, like
Just like Akron did.
just like Akron, like you have to win your conference tournament, or else you don't belong there. All
Yep.
these other teams, like what is it, 37 at-large bids and then 31 automatic qualifiers.
Yep.
Well, they got the last at-large bid because not only did they not win their conference tournament, but their strength of schedule was pretty
But
horrendous.
you had to put them in no matter what.
You have to put them in no matter what. That's where I draw the line. First four in the bubble, totally cool with me. I
Yep.
would be a little bit upset if they were put into the first round. That's all I gotta say. I would be upset if they were put into the first round. They because
And
they
and that's where I agree. Like I think you had to win your conference to make it into the first round automatically. Them being on the verge of them being in the bubble, I think they're gonna have to shut up a lot of haters in this game, and I think they're gonna come out so on fire and so explosive on SMU. I think they're gonna move on, and I want to say they play Tennessee in the first round. Whoever advances,
they do.
uh, um, they're gonna lose to Tennessee.
Yeah. No, they
They
are.
will lose to Tennessee. I think either it doesn't even matter who comes out. If it's SMU or if it's Miami, Ohio. Both of those teams are going to lose to Tennessee.
Yeah, I agree. But that's also where the decision to put them in the bubble becomes right.
But
Because if
that's
you
where my bracket is kind of like just contradicted itself because I have Miami, Ohio going to the second round. If there's one team that could upset and just, shut up a lot of people and tell people just to hush the noise a bit, they're gonna have to win two games, the first four game, and then against Tennessee. But like, I just don't. I see Tennessee so great, but in my bracket that I made with my friends, I think that Miami, Ohio could advance and it wouldn't be the wildest thing because I'm so heavy on Miami of Ohio that I don't want this season to end for them.
I don't want the season to end for them either. But here's another thing. So compare some 11 seeds real quick.
Hmm.
Like, do you think Miami of Ohio is a better team than VCU?
Yeah,
You do?
yeah.
Okay. Well, and
I think
that's
I
your
think they're better
answer.
than VCU.
That's
I
your
think they
answer.
I think they play tougher basketball. Like we can't ignore that this team has been like solid on defense. And then
Oh
when
yeah.
that defense is fantastic, it transitions to offense. It's just they don't have any big explosive players that could just be the number one and the clear cut one on that team. They kind of have to share the ball around. They have to play what I like to say fundamentally sound basketball.
Mhm.
Um, FCU though, they do have firepower. So we
Yeah.
could give them I could give it to them and be like, yeah, FCU, not FCU, and VCU is better. I just think the type of basketball that Miami of Ohio plays, I like that a lot more. They do play
Yeah.
clean basketball at times, though. It's the clear cut max and action of just great ball. Um, but I really do like how Miami of Ohio plays over VCU plays, and but you could go with the firepower is VCU. You could do the pros and cons list. But no, give me the Miami of Ohio.
Okay. Because I only ask because I believe more in VCU to beat North Carolina than I do in Miami of Ohio to beat Tennessee.
That's fair.
That's just my opinion comparing couple 11 seeds, so but like yeah, do you want to talk about the rest of the region real
Oh yeah,
quick?
no, we're gonna talk about. Let's talk about the number one seed, Big Ten. Michigan Wolverines. You're high on Michigan. Talk about Michigan a little bit. They're coached by a tremendous. They're coached by Dusty May, a
Yeah.
legend,
Legend.
legend in
Trust
the
me.
making. Um, let's talk about that game they had earlier this week with Yaxel Lendenborg.
Yeah.
He turned up. He
Hmm.
turned up. He switched that game's narrative. He had a ginormous block in the first half of, I think it was the semifinals game, or was it the final? I think it was the semis, right? Or do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And he hit the game winner. I want to say it was the semis. I was watching. I just can't remember which one it was. Well, he showed up both games. But yeah, Yaxel
The
Lendenberg.
semis.
It was the
Is the
semis.
semis. Yeah,
He
they beat
tore
Wisconsin.
it. Bro, he changed that game. I think that might be the best basketball game that he's played all year. I'm so excited talking about him.
He
He was
is
an absolute blast to watch this season, but he was a lot more fun to watch in the conference tournament, and I cannot wait to see how he plays in this March Madness. I'll say this on top of my heart, this guy, anyone that's trying to guard him or anyone that he's guarding, it is going to be the toughest day on that opposing player because what we just seen from Yaxel in this regular season and especially in that semifinals game, something unlocked in that semifinal game from Yaxel, and it is just if I'm an NBA scout, I'm like, oh my god. Something
yeah.
unlocked in him. Something unlocked in him, and he just turned it up a notch. And we didn't even know he had another notch that he could have reached, and he just reached that.
He was fantastic. He's a Big Ten player of the year, and he deserves it. And put the team on his back. They're missing LJ Kaysen off the bench, which is a big injury when you're talking about depth in the tournament and how much it matters. So Look, this team is just they're so aggressive.
This
Like
team is awesome. This
they're
Michigan
so
team is
good.
awesome.
They are airtight, man, and they're really good. They're equally as good on offense and defense. Like there's not a lot of faults here. But if you're nitpicking, then obviously you can find some stuff, some issues, such as the case and injury. But even with him being hurt,
And
this team
I gotta say something. I think when he got hurt, I think because Yaxel was terrific all year, but I
yeah,
think when he got hurt, Yaxel, that's when he kind of turned up a notch. And in
yeah,
that semifinals, he turned it up a little bit more. Like he put the University of Michigan, the Wolverines, on his back. Like we've
yeah,
seen him play fantastic basketball night in and night out all season since he was in high school. Like we've seen this guy play terrific basketball for his entire life.
yeah.
But that game of the semis was just a notch. He turned the dial up a little bit, and like, that was one of the most fun games I've seen him play. Like it's been great to watch him play. It's been a lot of fun watching him play all year. But that one is what I'm going to be talking about for a long time. Is that conference championship, that Big Ten semifinal game?
Yeah, he was like it's a performance for the ages, and it's gonna Michigan fans will remember that performance for a long time. They're just so good, and I don't see them like looking at the bracket right now. I don't see them facing a massive test until the Elite Eight.
And who could they match up potentially in the lead eight?
Well, just looking at the whole thing right now, so they will probably play Georgia in the second round if Georgia beats St. Louis, but that's not a given
That's a
because
good game too. We got to highlight that game. I
that's a
think
good.
that's a terrific game. I know a lot. I've actually watched a couple St. Louis games this year. Watched a couple of Georgia games also. Kind of kept tabs on Georgia a lot more than St. Louis. But what I've been hearing on all the radio, all the talks, on the shows, St. Louis is a team is a pretty solid, dominant team, and I think they paired up with Georgia pretty well. That's going to be an awesome game to watch on March 19th.
Yeah.
9:45 p.m. Late one.
Well, they could get so just looking at in the Elite Eight in the Sweet 16, they could get Alabama, and that could be a barn burner of a
Wow,
classic.
that would be a terrific game. Yep.
That would be a terrific. And then you want to go a step further, the Elite Eight.
Yeah.
They can get Virginia, 3-seeded Virginia. They can get a 2-seeded Iowa State side.
So they actually have it's actually going to be a hard route for them past the Sweet 16 because past the second round. Like I see them being Georgia. Once the Sweet 16 approaches, it's actually gonna be hard on them because Bama's a really hell of a team.
Yeah, they're good. But their point guard just got arrested. Did you see that?
Oh my God, I saw that this morning. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the craziest thing. Literally days before he got arrested. Who was just talking about it? I think it was I think it was Wake Up Barstool. I saw a clip on Twitter this morning of that, and I was like, oh my God. So
Yeah.
that's actually a ginormous loss for Alabama. Because man, they were playing one hell of a basketball season. They're playing high level ball.
Yeah. So it was Aiden. It looks like it was Aiden Holloway who was arrested. So he's their second leading scorer on the Crimson Tide. It looks like he was just arrested for possession of marijuana. So I don't want to get legal here because
I don't want to get
don't know
illegal here,
what
but
I'm talking
he'll be
about.
playing. He'll be ready for tip
He'll
off.
probably be playing. That's what we should say. I don't.
Yeah,
Is
he'll probably be playing,
he'll
depending
be
on hey, he's a basketball player and he just got caught possession of weed. That's what I want in my point guard. Let's go.
my point guard. There you go. That's how you win the big dance.
That's how you win the big dance. You
That's
gotta
how you.
relax. I like it. He's relaxed.
He is. He's so chill, man. You wouldn't even know.
You wouldn't
Most
even tell this
mellow
guy's
guy.
nervous, and that's what you like. You like a guy that can relax,
Yeah, you want him. You want him like just like existing, man. Like just
just
like
chilling, just vibes, an all-time
chilling.
vibes guy.
Just creating shots. You know, messing up the perimeter. Banking a couple
Hey
of.
man, March Madness can get you very stressed out, especially if you're playing it, especially if you're with a 4 seed in Alabama. You gotta smoke a little ganja to relax a little bit to keep your mental so sharp. I like that. That's team first right there.
That is team first. You get caught with reefer. That is team first right
That is
there.
team first right there. They don't want you stressed out. You don't play good basketball stressed out. They
Yeah.
want you relaxed. Team
You gotta
first.
be
Thinking of the
calm.
team. Thinking of
Thinking
the
of the
team
team.
right there.
Thinking of the team. That's exactly what I have to say too. So But to get back to the bracket, Alabama will probably give them a real test in the Sweet 16, and then that would likely be the hardest team they would face unless I don't know, I don't think Texas Tech is as good as Alabama, nor do I think they're
I
anywhere.
got Texas Tech losing in the first round to Akron.
I was just gonna say that. I was just gonna say Akron for me is the biggest upset. That game that's on upset watch for me. It's Akron versus Texas Tech, and that would be huge. That would be huge. That might even, you know what that might even do? If Akron beats Texas Tech, not to bring it back again to Miami of Ohio, but that would further validate Miami of Ohio's win
Yep.
over Akron.
And that's clear. Like, that's great. I've been saying it for a couple weeks. I said it on the show a couple days ago, or the last 2 weeks. Whenever I said it on the show, I can go back and find it. But I said Akron is the more complete basketball team out of the MAC. But
Yeah,
Miami, Ohio did play their best basketball game against Akron earlier this year.
they did. And Miami of Ohio, like they got an extra step to take, so they got to beat SMU. But Akron, like you were talking about, like I think this is a very favorable matchup for them to be going up against Texas Tech in the first round.
I think so too. And then, like, I would like to say if there's a upset in round one, it would be Akron and Texas Tech. I really don't see there's any eye-popping upsets that could happen in round one. Obviously, there's always going to be a team that goes on a Cinderella watch
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But just looking at the bracket, just seeing how everyone's season went, nothing's eye-popping. Everyone's like, oh, and nothing is like, wow, that's going to be an upset. This is the matchup that you can see. That's an upset watch right there. That's probably the only upset watch. Like, imagine Alabama loses to their opponent, Offstra. Offstra, is that how you say their name? I've never heard of that school in my life.
Hofstra. I think they're a baseball school kind of ish. I know Max from Pardon My Take, the producer, used to play baseball for them, so that's kind of where I'm.
Oh, true. Wow, great journalistic work right there.
Dude, Big J journalist. What do you want me to say? Like I'm over here just sneaking around, uncovering all the dirty little secrets of sports media. Just like a little sewer rat, just going. That's me, man. Anything for a story. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not that kind of guy.
But we are running low on time. But I want to talk about this conference, and we'll talk about this conference, and then we'll end the show. So we talked about Michigan State, Alabama, Iowa State, and Virginia. Those two teams.
Yeah.
So Iowa State coming out of the Big 12, Virginia coming out of the ACC. ACC this season wasn't, the best to watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is great that Virginia made it. I'm not. Is it bad to say that I'm not really big on Virginia? I'm big on Iowa. I think Iowa is terrific. But is it bad to say that I'm not really high on Virginia?
No, because I agree. If you want to compare 3 seeds, I'll take Illinois any day.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, look at the conferences. Like, the Big Ten this year was a freaking death house for everybody.
It was a powerhouse this year in college basketball.
Yeah, and you literally like the Michigan won, and that was a battle. They had to have the Lendeborg 3 to beat Wisconsin, which is also again that's where my Wisconsin take came from in terms of why I think they can come out of the West region because of the way they looked against Michigan. But like Illinois played in a gauntlet of a conference this year. Like I would, in terms of 3 seeds, yeah, I'm taking them. Obviously, Michigan State. Like Michigan State has some real size. And they also have Tom Izzo too, and he's been around for a long time as a coach.
He's Mr. March. He's a Hall of Fame. He's a future Hall of Fame coach for sure.
Yeah, he's 100%, like one of the greats. Like, and so yeah, like I'm not very high on Virginia either.
What about Iowa State? I like Iowa State.
I like Iowa State. I do too. I certainly like them better than Virginia. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the same reason why I feel the way I do about North Carolina and VCU because North
But
Carolina.
is it bad to say I'm also not really high on the Midwest at all in general? I think this is gonna be the region where you see upsets, minus Michigan. I think Michigan will have a pretty nice smooth sailing. Like, is that a bad take right there? Like I'm not really a big fan of on many teams. I see Akron upsetting Texas Tech, Kentucky. We've seen a lot of lows from Kentucky this year, which we usually don't see. They went 10-8 in the SEC this year.
Yeah, to me, you're right. You're right. It's between the Midwest and the South. That's in my opinion. Because the East
Well,
is
I would still take the because like we've seen Kentucky in the past when they reached the NCAA March Madness tournament, they're a different ball team. But this
yeah.
year, it did not feel like Kentucky from all these years. I don't know if that's Mark Pope's coaching philosophy and he just has everything falling and not the plays or tradition is just falling or something like that. Like I don't remember. I can't believe they lost 13 games this year. Is that such an eye-boggling thing that Kentucky, the University of Kentucky, they used to be the college basketball powerhouse, lost
Yeah.
13 games this year and they went 10-8 in the SEC? Like I find that's crazy. I find that's crazier than Miami, Ohio. Like I think Miami, Ohio's debate of not being, potentially not having, like, to not make it in before the tournament bracket came out. Like, I just find that it's like more eye boggling because Kentucky, they play obviously in the SEC, so it's really not that crazy to think about actually. But I just think I just don't see a team that could advance with 13 losses, and they were actually 13 bad losses, especially 8 in their own conference, and they were so like I think 5 of them were close, but 3 of them were bad losses. I just don't see them advancing. Kentucky.
Neither do I. I mean, once Calipari left, it kind of like
Tradition went through the window, right? Like they're playing Clara, so
just you know what? It was just probably the whole system that he brought with him of developing players and getting them all to buy in. Like
yeah.
it's a bit more difficult now. Not to say that Mark Pope is inferior because I think he's a great coach. I just think that yeah, they've been on a bit of an uphill climb since Calipari left,
Could we
again,
see Herb Seddick and the Broncos of Santa Clara upset Kentucky?
yeah, probably. But how much of an upset is it given the fact of how poorly they performed this year with
That's
13 losses?
true. That's true. If you look seating wise, that's true.
That's
I agree.
yeah,
Yeah, but I would say
that
I would say that's a big loss for their program in general, and that's a big
yeah,
win
oh yeah.
for the Broncos in general too. So it can go by both ways. But yeah, no, it's not really that much of an upset how bad Kentucky is. I'm just more shocked that what is it? That how bad they played this year.
Yeah, I mean, I was shocked too. Like the SEC kind of took a downturn after last year in general, just
Yeah.
with all those teams making the tournament. So like this year, like in the SEC, like Alabama is by far and away the best team. Would you agree?
Yeah.
And then after that, there's a pretty significant drop off. Like Tennessee, Kentucky, who else I'm trying to find here? Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia. Like they're not very like Florida is Florida because of what happened last year.
And like
And
you
they
can never, yeah, you can never take out their national championship out of the equation. Like they're national champions still.
yeah.
Like until someone dethrones them, most likely this season, um, you just can't take that out of the equation or out of the chatter. But overall, I want to say this is one of the hardest tournaments to predict if you're trying to create a bracket, because I honestly want to say it is wide open because the top 4 seeds, the 4 number 1 seeds, they were dogs.
Yeah.
Great programs. Now the second seeds, great too. I think this is one of the most open tournaments we've seen in a long time. I don't see like the 15. I don't see a 15th seed winning it. I see like if I think I'd go as low as a 5th seed has a chance of winning it. Anything below that, congratulations, you guys are dancing.
I
But
agree with you. 100% I agree with you. 100% I agree with you. Like, don't go below fifth seed because, like,
yeah,
looking at the fifth seeds right here, two of them immediately stick out to me, and that's St. John's and then Wisconsin. Wisconsin could win the whole thing. St. John's be a bit harder just because of all the teams they would have. Like, if they beat Northern Iowa, they got to play Kansas.
I
Which
know
and don't
they have a tough route. They have a tough route, but I think it comes down to who is on that sidelines getting those boys going. And that's what I gotta say. This guy's been here before. He's coached better teams overall. Not saying St. John's is a bad team roster wise, but he's coached the best of the best in college basketball.
yeah, he coached Kentucky in the 90s, and then he coached Louisville for how long before he left to go to well, all that stuff happened. He had some
Yeah,
stuff.
the past is the past.
Past is the past,
The
but
past is the
after
past.
after Louisville, he kind of went to some small schools. Was one of them Iona? He went. I can't believe I remember that. Rick Pitino. Let's
Poor
do this.
lad, poor lad.
I'm just trying to see if my ball knowledge is still sticking with me. So yeah,
Yeah,
this guy
he's doing a great
Rick
job.
Pitino's career is nuts, bro. It's nuts. Do you want to hear this?
Yeah, I want to hear his resume.
Bro, okay, so point guard at UMass from 71 to 74. After that, he coaches at Hawaii as an assistant for 3 seasons until 76, and then he's the interim at Hawaii for 1 year. Goes to Syracuse for 2 years, 76 to 78. Boston University, 78 to 83. New York Knicks assistant, 83 to 85. And then he becomes, after this, it's head coach. So head coach at Providence for 3 years till 87.
Providence, I remember that. Providence, yeah, I remember that.
Head coach of the Knicks for 3 years until 89.
Yep.
Then he goes to Kentucky and coaches them for 8 seasons until 1997. Boston Celtics, that was the big move. That was the big one that failed. So he goes to the Celtics. He goes 97 to 2001. I think he drafts Paul Pierce or something like that. And then after that, 2001 to 2017, so 16 years with Louisville. Oh, and then this is a crazy one. So he went to EuroLeague, bro. He went
Oh
to
yeah, he went to go play Euro. Yeah, he went to go coach Euro basketball league. That was the cool one. That was the cool one. Because the scandal, wasn't it?
That was after the scandal. So
yeah, after the scandal, yeah.
He goes to Greece and he coaches. So soccer fans will know Panathinaikos. They have rivalries with Olympiacos, and then
the EuroLeague.
In the EuroLeague, yeah. And then 4 years at Iona, and then 2023 he goes to St. John's. He's been there since 2023. So he's man, this is
crazy resume right there. But yeah, I totally forgot about that. We got to end this though because we're going a little bit over. But I got to ask you, one team, you think is going all the way? I know I asked you a couple weeks ago, but it could always change. Who do you think is winning the National College Athletic Association men's basketball tournament, March Madness? Take a while. Michigan Wolverines. I'm gonna go with who do I really like?
I really hope it's Duke, Michigan, and the Natty though. Like I really hope it's Duke, Michigan.
You know what? Michigan, yeah. I like Michigan. I like Duke. I like UConn. I like Michigan State to some capacity. I actually can't pick a winner right now. On my bracket, I have Duke. But yeah, I'm gonna go Duke. Let's go to Duke. Yeah, let's go Duke. Let's go Duke national champions. You have a Cinderella team?
My Cinderella team, we discussed it before the show. It was gonna be St. John's, but after that, I decided because we made a parameter of you can't have what is it, 7th seed or below? Is that
let's go 6 and below. 6 and below.
6 and below?
Yeah, you can go 6 and below.
BYU.
Oh yeah.
BYU. AJ DeBanza all the way. My original pick was Northern Iowa, but you said 6, and then like Louisville, they won't have their point guard. So yeah, I'm going BYU. BYU is going to be awesome this year, and yeah, they're way better than North Carolina and yeah, Tennessee. BYU.
BYU. You know what? Give me a team from Akron, Ohio. Pretty sure Akron's in Ohio, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, bet. I had to second guess myself there, but yeah, I got Akron. I don't know how far they're gonna go. I think they play some solid basketball, type of action basketball. It's what you like to see. A lot of fundamentally sound, a lot of grit. You know, give me Akron.
First place of LeBron James.
Or give me Queens University, or give me California Baptist.
California Baptist is wild. California Baptist is wild.
I'd be surprised if they score 60 points in their first game.
Imagine you asked me that question and then I popped off with friggin' Prairie View or something like that.
What about Furham? Can we go Furham?
Dude.
Or White State?
Oh man, what about Howard?
Yeah, what about Northern Iowa?
Northern Iowa, man. You know who went to Northern Iowa? Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner went to North. Oh, he did. Yeah, I actually remember that. Yeah.
He played football in Northern Iowa, and then he
where his coach was being an asshole to him and didn't let him play until his last 2 games or something like that.
Yeah, well, old Kurt can definitely say he won that little rivalry.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. I would agree. That coach is a dunce.
But yeah, that's my opinion on. I'm just, you know what, bro? I'm
excited, man.
I want this freaking thing to start like now. Like I want to
Oh, I'm
watch
so
games
pumped.
now.
You know what we're gonna do?
What?
When does the tournament start? Tomorrow or Wednesday? I want to say it's Wednesday, right?
17th. It's tomorrow.
Okay, so tonight I'm gonna see if I can make an edit or a graphic, and then we're gonna make a bracket together,
Yeah.
and we're gonna post it on the Instagram. Um, but yeah, this has been the March Madness special. A lot of sports has happened in the world, but we're back. When do we record again? We record tomorrow again, right?
Yeah, it's tomorrow because we're going back to a regular schedule, right?
Yeah. So yeah,
So it's
Tuesday,
tomorrow.
and then we release Wednesday, and this is gonna be releasing later today. Um, so yeah, it's perfect. We're back to regular scheduled programming. It's great to be back. Great to be back on a little schedule. But yeah, tomorrow we'll be talking about the sports. What's going on with Toronto sports? The WBC Classic. We're gonna see the finals matchups as of tonight. Italy goes up against Venezuela. USA wins off of a controversial call when Dominican Republic had a guy on third base had a chance to tie it up. They called strike where it looked like a ball. You know what? We need the robots in baseball now. But we're not going to talk about that. We'll talk about that tomorrow. What's going on with the Toronto Maple Leafs? Why did no one stand up for their captain, Austin Matthews? Does that make Austin Matthews a bad captain? His leadership quality must suck if no one's standing up for him. Or is the Toronto Maple Leafs, do they love losing or do they hate winning? Same. What else do we have? Toronto Raptors finally beat. A lot of going on tomorrow. A lot of sports to talk about. Champions League, second leg two, some action.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, we are back. March Madness too. We're probably just chatting stuff like that too. But this has been the Daniel Federico Show. I'm Daniel Federico. That's Nick Tazio, and we'll see you guys again on Wednesday. Ciao.
Ciao.